Hey, welcome back to The Green Card with me, Katie Green. If you want to come see me live, I have 2 work in progresses coming up. One is the 19th of October at 9:45 at the Bill Murray in Angel. And the other one is the 9th of November at 6 p.m. at Top Secret Comedy Club. If you want to come and see me work out some new stuff, ticket information will be in the show notes, or the ticket links are also on my link tree in my Instagram bio. So come check it out. Thank you for listening to the podcast. This episode, I am joined by fellow comedian Erika Ehler, and see you soon. Bye-bye. Welcome back on the pod. It's difficult. I feel like we're having a difficult time in life. It's this era.
I don't think anyone's thriving. Of the people I talk to, the girls are not thriving.
The girls are not thriving. Are the guys thriving?
I have like 2 guy friends. No. Well, 3.
No?
No, I don't think so. But they don't talk to me that much.
Oh.
But I think their general demeanor is no.
No? Yeah, well, it's also hard to thrive here in the UK. I feel like no one wants to say that they're thriving in the UK. Like, I just came back from LA and everyone's thriving in LA because everyone's Delulu.
Yeah.
LA is like, I'm like, this is why I miss it. I miss being delusional.
Yeah. It's confidence building in a way.
Oh, yeah. Fuck, I was walking on the street and I'm like, wow, people are looking at me. No one was looking at me. But LA makes, maybe because it's sunny. Like, the UK is reality.
Yeah, I also think people avoid eye contact here.
Oh, yeah.
When I walk down the street, people are looking at the floor and I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I'm like, just look at my tits, please.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
They're out for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah. So now we're here. Do you see yourself living in the UK forever?
I don't know. I think like I was never meant to live here. When I first moved, it was meant to be temporary. And then I just stayed. Like I came here for school and then I was meant to just do 1 year, finish my like degree. And then I called my mom being like, well, I'm staying here to do comedy. And that was a drama because I was meant to go home and then become a lawyer with.
Were you really?
Yeah.
I cannot see that.
Yeah, I'm not organized. I'm not organized. I can read, but I'd have all of these like documents.
Yeah.
I would need like, yeah, I think like the idea was to either be in real estate law because my dad used to be a real estate agent, or in entertainment law. So I can be like, well, it's still kind of what I want to do.
Oh,
but
wow. So you were going to go to law school?
That was the idea.
So what was your degree in?
A comedy writing and performance, but it's like a Bachelor of Arts, so I could do it.
Wow.
As my undergrad.
Wow. Yeah, that would have been an interesting change up for you.
Yeah.
And you were going to go back to Canada?
Yeah.
And at what point did that change?
I think in Edinburgh.
Oh.
2019. I was in 2 really big competitions, and then I was being like scouted by loads of agents, and then I ended up picking the one that I went with. But then it was just so clear that there was a path here.
Yeah. Whereas
in Canada, in comedy, there's not. The path is you leave. That's the path. You get good and you go to the States or here because there's nothing there. Your 2 options are to go on Just for Laughs or do like the Yuck Yuck circuit, and then that's it. Done. That's it.
Yeah,
those are the 2 goals.
I think once you start getting paid, you're like, oof, it's hard doing things for free. But in LA, I would do everything for free. I'd pay. Did you ever have pay to play?
No, they were pretty strict about that in Toronto. People have tried to bring it. Now that I've moved away, I sometimes see posts and then they immediately shut it down.
Who's they?
Like just the community. They're like, we don't do that here.
That's good.
Which I think is good. Yeah, that's the one thing that they're very adamant about. Bringers, there are a few. There's like maybe 2 or 3 in the city, but again, they're like, we don't
like that. So if you don't know, pay to play is like you pay to perform. And there was one place in LA and you could perform, like they had like hours shows, like, and you could perform like 4 times a night. Like every hour, but it'd be $5 every single time.
And you'd be doing 5 minutes?
You'd be doing 5 minutes.
So it's $1 a minute?
Yeah, to just try new stuff.
Yeah.
And then the other things is like you had 1 item minimum places. So there were cafe places where you'd have to be like, you could get something. And so you're paying then. And those minimum, like one bar used to be like one item minimum, and the water was still even $4 or something. So it's kind of the same, but you're like, oh, at least I get a water. It was crazy.
I think in a way, I'm not saying it's good, but I think if you could take one silver lining away from it, it's going to push away people who don't actually want to do it. And I think that's kind of nice.
But then it encourages people who do have money. So then there are people who are like, yeah, I performed 6 times today. And I'm like, oh, it's because you have money.
Right. You have time to, you have that money to burn.
Right.
Whereas other people don't have.
Whereas it really shifts the people who like are like economically not at, like, I mean, you can't spend $20 a day to perform.
That is a lot.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah. And time too, that you're just going to, because if you're performing 4 times, you'd just be there for the whole night.
Yeah. That specific place. Yeah. Or some people go bounce around and do more shows. But God, I remember it was like horrible. But like, I do miss it sometimes. Because I do think it can make you a better comic when you're doing that level of bad shows.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that. I think it's good to play some bad shows.
So you moved from Toronto.
Yeah. Then I was in Manchester for a year, finishing my degree, and then I moved to London after that. Yeah. When it was around the time we first met.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a lonely time. I didn't know anyone, and then I just lived in some random house with cockroaches.
God, I didn't even know they had cockroaches.
They had they had cockroaches, and it was like a rough neighborhood.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, that was.
I slept with a knife under my pillow one time.
Did you really?
Yeah.
For the cockroaches?
Yeah. Well, no, because somebody went up to my window and said, "I can see you in there," and I lived on the first floor, and my defense to that was just to take a dull kitchen knife and sleep with it.
Oh my God.
They let her, like, I mean, I heard like sirens and stuff. So I was like,
where was this again?
Manor Park.
It's always hard when you're moving to a new place because you have no idea.
I was just so desperate for a house. I was just like, I'll just take it.
My first place when I moved here was in Acton.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I used to live with a lovely landlady, and she was so great. I think she really changed my perception because it felt like I had like a home away from home. So it wasn't like when you do the move alone, I think people really don't anticipate the difficulties of not having a familiar sense nearby. And she was like a mom.
Yeah.
And so I'd come home and like, I'd be like, oh, so-and-so was mean to me. And she'd be like, oh, that's not nice. And sometimes you really need that.
Yeah. Just empathy from someone.
Yeah.
Hard to find in London.
So hard to find. So hard to find. Everyone's busy.
Yeah.
Everyone can listen to you next week.
Yeah. I was like,
or go for coffee. Yeah.
I can hear your problems from this hour to this hour. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's funny being an immigrant. Like here, you like who ends up becoming your family. Like, for example, like I don't have a sister, but if I ever had an issue, I would consider somewhat like you, my intern sister here.
Yeah,
because I just have no family, and like, you know, I mean, I have one cousin in Chorley, but we don't really chat.
Yeah.
But your friends become like your family and your immediate support system.
Yeah.
Which I think is why I can be very sensitive. But when things go wrong with friends, like they hit me so hard because I'm like, well, this is like losing a family member.
That I agree with that. I also hate conflict. So like when things go wrong with friends, I'm like, oh no, this is the end. This is it. This is done. And it does feel like losing someone really, really close to you. Because as an immigrant, you have to have that. You need
a support system.
Yeah.
Part of me thinks like, I'm like, oh, if I had a partner, my life would be so much better. And I know that that's like a fallacy. I know that that's a lie.
I think that every single day for the last 15 years. No, I literally think that all the time.
Yeah.
I think because I don't have a partner, I'm like, wow, you got you got somebody, you have an assistant.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
So sometimes when I'm walking around the house, I'm like, can you grab me that? And I'm talking to nobody. But like people in a couple.
Yeah. Have
that person that could grab them the towel.
Open a jar.
Or they have the person that they could could call and be like, can you take the chicken out of the freezer?
No, I get it. I get it. I think it's like I want to be, sometimes I want to come home and like, somebody asked me about my day.
Yeah.
And I do get that with like roommates and stuff, but I'm like, no, but like really ask me.
Yeah. Yeah. Or sometimes I want to watch TV with somebody.
Yeah.
Because watching TV alone, I'm like, oh, I'm wasting time. When I watch TV with somebody else, I'm like, I'm hanging out.
Yeah. I'm creating a bond.
Yeah. We're doing something together.
Yeah.
I do so much stuff alone here.
I've become so comfortable just going to restaurants on my own. But I think that also goes with a job. But like, yeah, I'll just like, I'm so used to being like, oh, is the table by the window okay? There's one chair staring out the window. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Just watch other people walk by.
I used to think that it'd be really cool if they'd pair people who are one alone like at a restaurant together.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I'd be like, I just want to talk for like maybe 15 minutes. It'd be nice, you know?
Yeah. I think that's a good experiment.
I think that'd be cool. Like, oh, you're alone?
Depends what kind of restaurant, though. I would never want to make a first impression while eating chicken wings.
I was going to say ramen.
Yeah.
I get messy in ramen. I don't know. I don't know how to eat ramen right. Because it's like...
Slurping.
Yeah, everything is like... There is ramen places that shouldn't be after. It's just like everywhere. Ramen.
Yeah. Spaghetti, maybe not.
Spaghetti, no. Anything slurpy.
Yeah. Anything messy.
Yeah.
Because you wanna still look good.
You want to look good.
even if it's not even like that.
Yeah.
It's part of making a good impression, I think.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, I do a lot of stuff alone. Sometimes I'm like, this is too lonely. Mm. But I do think that eating out, I'm like, oh God. I had a roast dinner alone the other day. And I'm like, I think this is the opposite of what a roast is.
Yeah, I think that meal particular, because it's meant to be so social. That's a choice.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you were just like out and be like, oh, I'll just pop into this place.
Yeah, no. I was like, I'm going to get a roast dinner today. And it was, people were looking. The worst is when they think someone's joining you. I'm like, no.
Just me.
Just me.
The waitress comes around, takes the cutlery. It's like, okay, thanks. At least let me think. Let the people think that someone's come.
I'm always in that mentality that's like, I want to find somebody, but then I never do it.
It's like, well, a lot of people say it's like you can't get a job that you don't apply for, right?
Right. I don't be applying.
Yeah. I bought Tinder Gold last week because I was just in a bad mental place. And I was like, oh, whatever, I'll spend 12 quid. And then I was just like, I want to see the people who like me.
Any good people?
I forced myself to ask somebody out, and they did not reply.
Great.
Yeah.
Cool.
Then one guy was like, I'm here from Germany. I'm here for the weekend. I'm like, I know what that means. No. I love when they tell me they're traveling. They're like, I'm only here for this amount of time. I'm like, well, what are we going to do in that amount of time?
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah. Wait, also on Hinge now, there's like couples.
I've not seen that.
I've been getting some couples who like me, and I'm like, what about my profile saying I want to find someone to go to Disneyland with says, hey,
I'm your unicorn.
Yeah. Hey, do you want to join us on a night of experimentation? I'm like, if there's Mickey ears involved, maybe.
Yeah.
But like, no.
Looking for a third to go on Space Mountain. That's what I'm about.
Yeah, that's it. I'm like, no, like fucking, there's no rides that are in 3. It's 2.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to a theme park later this month, and we made sure it's even numbers because...
Oh, did you? Are you going to Thorpe Park?
Yeah. Last time we went, we were in a 4, and I was like, that's all right.
That's the perfect number.
Yeah.
For a theme park, 4.
Yeah. We can drive there. It's fine.
Yeah.
We'll see.
But this thing is, single rider is actually really good. Single rider...
You get to
go.
Jump the line.
Single rider is really good, but it's still not good when you're alone. Mm. Single rider is good when you have somebody else because you're like, oh wow, we skipped the line together.
Yeah,
we're still kind of doing it together. Like me and my sister do single rider all the time. Like we just went to Disneyland and we did the Star Wars ride or one of them, and they had a single rider. Me and my mom got to do it, and then me and my sister got to do it. And like the wait time would have been 45 minutes.
Yeah,
and like we did both of it in less than 15. So I'm like, it kind of feels like you're like, oh wow, like this is great, but you're still doing it together. Doing single rider alone when you're alone is not fun. I did that in Disneyland Paris, and I'm like, oh, I'm a loser. But I kept on going. There's the Ratatouille ride. I kept on going.
I wasn't able to go on that ride. It was closed when I went.
Oh, that was a good ride.
What's the concept?
They make you feel they you're running around like you're the size of a rat.
Oh, I do like that.
I love it. Ratatouille. I got some Ratatouille ears in Disneyland last time I was there. They didn't have them in Paris when I was there. And I'm like, how do you not have Ratatouille ears?
Yeah, there's a whole section where it's just dedicated to Ratatouille.
But there was no ears. This is why I'm like, you need to incorporate consumerism. Otherwise, you're not a Disneyland.
They need to hire you as their brand manager.
Oh my God. Because that's what makes Disneyland so great.
The capitalism.
Yeah, the capitalism. But also, that's what makes it so inclusive. Like, you go to Disneyland, and Disneyland, like Anaheim, it is the most inclusive place. Like, the people who run Disneyland need to run the government because everyone is happy. Yeah. And everyone is accepted.
Yeah.
Disneyland is literally like a utopia of people coming together because they're all wearing Mickey ears.
I don't know if it sounds like capitalism. I think it sounds like communism if we're all dressed the same.
You're right, but you have to buy the stuff.
Okay.
And the people who have the most Mickey stuff win. You know, they're at the top. They're like, you look at them and you're like, oh, wow, you guys have a family of 17 having matching outfits. Yeah. Oh, man, they've done it right. Then you look at your matching outfit and you're like, oh, we're only 4.
Have you heard about this thing where it's like, if you dress as a character and you go into Disney, there's like a conspiracy. Let's say you go and you're dressed exactly like Belle. They make you change and they give you free clothes to change because you can't be posing as a character, and they like, so kids don't go up to you and stuff like that.
I'd be upset if I dress as Belle knowing that, and they're like, you're fine.
Oh yeah, okay.
You're fine.
Yeah, no one's gonna mistake you.
No one's gonna know. Yeah. But then I feel like at the same time, it would kind of suck being like you spending all that money to look like a princess, or like all that time and effort.
Yeah, and then
they're like, "Would you like some Disneyland 2023 apparel that is not going anywhere?" Like that would suck.
Yeah, but apparently people do it so they get the free merch. Like they just keep going dressed in the same.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
It's a little scam that really isn't. You don't get that much.
Yeah, but it does seem like a good scam.
Yeah.
Disneyland, like everything about it is so intriguing to me. I never thought I was a Disney adult until one year I went to 4 parks around the globe in 1 year, and I'm like, I think it's time.
California, Florida, Japan, France?
Yes. But I did not get to go to Tokyo Sea, and that would have really...
I've heard
it's great too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever go Disney Quest?
No.
I don't know if they have it in California, but they do in Florida. And because my parents are a million years old, they have timeshares, and they'll go and sit through another timeshare like presentation so that me, the kid, would get like some freebie.
Oh.
And Disney Quest was always offered. And what Disney Quest is, it's like this like huge building with all video games related to Disney.
Oh.
And we went, and then there's one Aladdin game that like they strap, I guess it's like VR, but it's like the most antiquated version of VR you could ever think of. And my dad, who would have been 60 something at the time, put it on, and he threw up.
No, some of the like old, like remember when they first started introducing the like 3D rides?
Yeah.
Those were not good for me. The Harry Potter ride that is 3D at Wizarding World it was not good for me, but I couldn't tell anyone because I'm like, I love it. I got to do this every single day.
Yeah, you're a Potterhead. You can't deny.
I couldn't deny it because I had a season pass. So I'd like, okay, sometimes I wouldn't have butterbeer before, and it would still be, it was like not good.
What does butterbeer taste like?
Butterbeer tastes like, so the froth is, I'd say, the best.
Okay.
Because it's like a creamy kind of like not a, like a butterscotch flavored kind of mix between cream and whipped cream. And they layer that on top. But the like butterbeer kind of like a cream soda, but like butterscotch flavored.
Okay.
So this is where Disneyland Anaheim wins for food for me, I think. Tokyo was pretty good because they had like alien mochi, which was so cool. Like I loved the concept.
Would you ever eat turkey legs at Disney?
I used to. Yeah, I used to, but like I think I've gotten it once or twice.
I think that's the thing that my father loved.
Yeah.
When he had to take me to Disney, he's like, I'm getting a turkey leg. That's all he cared about. And you spend the day just gnawing on the turkey.
Big hype, that turkey leg.
Yeah. I think it's for the dads.
It's for the dads.
Whenever Disney parks get brought up, I always remember that kid that was like eaten by an alligator there.
See, I don't think about that.
I think it pops into my head probably because the Disney I've been most to is the Florida one. And maybe I'm like, could have been me.
So I never think about any problems in Disneyland because they're really good at hiding problems, except for that news. But you don't really find out if there's been deaths at Disneyland because they hide it so well. Other rides scare me, like roller coasters scare me because there was a story in my high school. These group of kids went on a school trip to a theme park, Six Flags, and the thing broke.
No.
The whatever. It was one of those that went overhead,
yeah.
And it broke, and then the girl was in the middle, so the two people next to her had to like hold her down the whole ride.
That's terrifying.
And I'm like, oh my God, that stuff scares me.
Yeah.
Like the big roller coasters scare me because the things in Disney are kind of they're
not many are thrill seeking.
No, they're kind of going to a story. They're story based.
Yeah.
So it's not as dangerous. Like I remember one time I was on It's a Small World and it stopped, and the most like dangerous aspect of it was that it just kept on playing the song and you're stuck there and you're like, when will this end?
I think that would be torture.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was more of a mental torture
Yeah.
than it was physical. We're just on a boat. Disney as a brand just fascinates me.
Do you think that because they have so many accusations of being evil?
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, what great thing doesn't?
True enough.
No, I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that, but I do. There is something about it that makes it like for me. Okay, the Orlando park is like whoa, crazy. I mean, the parks are crazy, and it is the place. That branding of happiest place on earth is like, it does allow you the space to kind of feel like a child. And I think that's what's great about Disney, because every day you're in a life of people being so serious and so focused on work, and Disney allows you to kind of just actually embrace.
Yeah. You can't rise and grind and do hustle culture when you're on It's a Small World.
No, you cannot do that. You cannot do that when Mickey's waving to you.
Yeah.
And like you kind of just like, when you go through the gates, you kind of just immerse yourself, and they make it so great. Whereas other theme parks, you kind of see the slipping a bit of like, it's not as grandiose or like other
theme parks. You'll get like a teenager who hates their life that works there.
Yes.
Whereas Disney, they do really hide that. And I think it's probably because the people who work there actually really want to work there.
Yeah.
But like if you go to Thorpe Park or Six Flags, you'll get it'll be some kid on their summer holiday just being like, all right, next.
Yeah. I was thinking this we waited 35 minutes to meet Mickey Mouse. And all I could think about is like, these characters must have inflated egos, because they got a line of people. Like the person inside must be like, wow, I'm popular. I'm Mickey Mouse.
I always do think about the person inside.
I think about the person inside a lot.
I'm like, part of me, I don't know why, my instinct is like, they gotta be ugly. They gotta be ugly. Put them in there. Gotta hide them from the park. What are they? Do they look that bad? You can't have them working the fucking lines.
I just think how tiny some of them have to be.
That's true, actually. Yeah. Depending on what character.
Yeah.
I also think, man, it must be hot in there.
Oh, yeah. But I think some of them they have fans, a lot of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But it must be brutal taking the hat off. Like, and just looking in the mirror and being like, I'm not Mickey.
Do you ever, sometimes you see them in Chinatown here, but like the fake Mickeys.
Oh, they always look so bad.
So bad. Like, especially when you see them chilling, having the head off, and they're just having like a smoke. And then you see kids pass by and they're just like in shock.
Yeah, the Spider-Mans are always no good.
No. Yeah, there's a Spider-Man in Toronto. He's known locally as Peter Parkour. But apparently he's like a menace. But like he like skateboards and stuff, but like apparently he's like an asshole.
Oh, really?
Yeah, apparently he's not nice.
Oh, wow.
We have a Toronto Spider-Man. We have a Toronto Batman who does stand up. I think he retired the character, but it was popular for a while.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, there was a Toronto version of loads of different things.
That seems really Toronto-esque.
Yeah, I think it is.
That's cool.
Yeah. I remember a memory of my mom getting in a fight with a Times Square Elmo.
Oh, Times Square Elmo is no good.
No, because I think my mom knew what the scam was, but for whatever reason wanted to fight. Like, you know that they're going to ask you for money.
Yeah.
I think she must have given some, but I think it was a thing of like they wanted more, and then she went off at them. And I just remember being a small child being like, why is mommy yelling at Elmo? Then obviously now I understand what had happened. But yeah.
Was your mom confrontational growing up?
Yeah, I would hide.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I hide. And my dad would sometimes hide too. She'll yell at the butcher because they didn't cut it correctly or something.
Oh, really?
Or like I have so many memories, particularly either with the fishmonger, I guess it would be called, or the butchers. It just explain like I don't know. Usually, well, we'd be going to an Asian grocery store, so there would be a language barrier. But like, I think my mom, I don't know what's wrong with her. She thinks louder is going to get the point across, but it just stresses me out.
Yeah.
And I'll just hide. Or sometimes with like certain customer service things, she will like raise her voice and do stuff, and I'll have to hide.
Yeah.
So in that respect, I would always get scared. But when it works in my favor sometimes. So I don't know if I told you this story, but when I first moved to London the first time, the travel agency that she used fucked up my booking. And so I show up to my hotel, and they say, and it was in Earl's Court, and they say, you've not booked this hotel, even though your listing says that. We've contacted this agency loads. The hotel that they've booked you for is in Blackpool.
What?
And it's just some bug that they've been told about loads of times. I'm not the first person it's happened to. And like, they were like, yeah, I'm so sorry. So I was waiting there, and I was like not stressed. And Omid came to visit me. And he was calling his ex at the time, being like, yeah, Erika was so calm. Like I couldn't believe it. Like she was so calm, in that situation. I'm like, the reason why I was calm, because I know my mom was going to sort it out. And
right.
She called the travel company, and I ended up staying at that hotel. They had to reimburse me, but she went off at them. She'd be like, my child has anxiety. This is the first time she's ever been out of the country on her own. Just lying. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, she has problems. She has mental problems. She's there alone. You're stressing her out. Just yelling.
I love that as our main excuse. Don't worry, I got this. My child has mental problems. Can't you tell? Oh my God.
Yeah. So.
Wow, and got it sorted out.
Omid, I think, also stressed the hotel people out because
what was he doing?
He said it's our honeymoon, and
That's
they didn't get the
funny.
joke. They didn't get that it was a joke. They were like, "Oh, we're sorry. Here, have some espresso on us." And I was just like, "All right." What?
That's so funny. That must have been so conflicting for them, being like, "This is our honeymoon," and your mom being like, "She has mental problems. She's not even married. Look, she's lying to you." That's so funny.
She's having delusions. Give me back my money.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, it's difficult having a mom who's confrontational. My mom was confrontational, and it was embarrassing growing up.
It's embarrassing.
It was so embarrassing. Like, I remember one time we were in line for high school registration, and my mom had to take the time off work and had a really small window, and the line was crazy. And this woman like tried to cut in front of us. And we've been waiting for a really long time. And she was like with a friend or whatever, or something like that. And the moms, like, I went to a school that was in my district, but it was a different city. And that city was like really wealthy.
Right.
And the city that I lived in wasn't as affluent at all. And so it was a registration to go to that school. And so the moms were all really wealthy, like stay-at-home moms, like well-dressed, that kind of vibe. Also very entitled. And this woman tries to cut, and my mom is like, excuse me, you're cutting. And the girl's like, no, I'm just here with my friend. Mom's like, no, you're not. You just got here. We've been here this whole time and you're cutting. And like, she's like, what? I don't understand why it's a big deal. And she's like, no, it's a big deal because we've been waiting here, and goes off, starts yelling, excuse me. I'm like, this is all full of my peers who I will be going to school with. Excuse me, this woman is cutting. Can we get some, hello? Like starts yelling, literally yelling about this woman cutting. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. Like I have to start school. And the other kids are looking at me. I'm like, this is a great first impression. Great first impression. Like it's insane. My mom has always been like that. Always been confrontational. And it's always been like, sorry. But she always gets things done.
Yeah. That's the thing.
Always.
You get angry. It's a weird system, I think, particularly in North America. If you get angry, if you get loud, you're going to get what you want.
And also like a mom, because my mom was like a single mom. So she only had a certain amount of time for things to get done. And time was of the essence. Like it was, did I ever tell you this story? In elementary school, I liked this boy. Mm-hmm. And I got him a present. We were like at Target. And I was like, Mama, I really want to get this M&M dispenser for this guy. Like, and she was like, oh my God, it's like expensive. It's like, please, I really want to get this for him. I think he'll really like it. Why would he like an M&M dispenser? I don't know. But I was like, please. So we get this M&M dispenser. And I bring it to school the next day. And I try to give it to him. He doesn't accept it.
No.
He doesn't accept it. So then I go home really sad. And my mom was like, what's this M&M dispenser doing here? And she's like, and I tell her, and I'm like, oh, he didn't accept it. And she's like, what? She goes to his house, knocks on the door, and with the present, and she's like, hi, are you so-and-so's mom? Because my daughter tried to give your son this gift, and he would not accept it. So I would like you to get your son for him to accept the gift. And then my mom goes inside the house, and like they have this whole conversation or whatever. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. Like literally my mom having to be like, accept my daughter's gift. It's so embarrassing. But he did accept it. I mean, he's bald now, so it's fine.
He got what's coming to him.
Yeah, he did.
Now he looked like an M&M.
Yeah, now he does look like an M&M. Because you're not confrontational in that sense.
No, I choose my fights. I'll never get mad at like retail things or things like that. It's hard to. Like because I'm like, I've been on the receiving end of that. I don't want this person to feel like how I felt. So I'm always pretty patient in that regard. But I'll be confrontational if I feel the situation requires it. Or like what's weird is like sometimes I have problems sticking up for myself. I've gotten a little bit better at that. But if a friend is around me being targeted or something like that, I'll speak up.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, oh, they can't do it, so I'll do it.
Yeah. That's interesting. I'm always the person if my friend doesn't like a meal or whatever, I always, because I'm like, I'm not gonna sit here and have you not like your thing.
Yeah, you're gonna say.
Yeah. I don't like. Sometimes I'm confrontational and sometimes I'm not. I pick my battles too. Yeah.
It's weird. Like I'll have anxiety. Like I used to growing up, I would like, Mom, can you go ask the lady for ketchup because I don't want to. Like I'd be scared to do that. But like I'll have a beef with someone if I think what they're doing is unethical or something like that. I'm like, I don't think this is fair. It's strange. Yeah. It's strange what I'm really sheepish about. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I wish I could.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah. I don't know. But then my mom was like, she said I used to be like you, and I'm like, this scares me. Don't say that. So I'm just gonna be yelling at people once I hit 50. I don't think I want that.
Oh no, yeah. Sometimes as I get older, I do feel like I'm turning into my mom more. In certain elements, I'm like, my mom would do this.
Yeah.
My mom also just like she always has a way of getting what she wants, and like I'd always be like, oh no. And my mom's good at it. Like just ask, do it.
Yeah, just ask for an upgrade. Just ask.
Yeah,
like, and sometimes you do get it.
Sometimes you do, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with like airline stuff. I have one friend who just every time she gives like cookies or something to the staff, and we'll do like a whole like, I know COVID was a really hard time and I just want you guys to know how appreciated you are. And she'll always get upgraded every single time.
Wow.
They'll like go to her seat. They'll be like, come on.
That's nice.
Every single time. Whereas I feel like if I did that, I'd be like, you want cookies?
Yeah.
And sometimes, because you can tell, because there was a guy, on the last flight I was on, there was a guy behind me who was like, I was told to give you guys some cookies, so here. It was so awkward. It was so awkward. Because I was like, that's like, you're not going to get anything. You're staying in your middle seat in economy.
I think because it's too transparent.
Yeah.
Some people are just smooth like that.
People are smooth, but also I feel like I would do that too if I didn't have so much baggage. I always have way too much baggage on a plane. I have like this last trip, they're like, you get a overhead and an under seat bag. I had 5 bags. 5 bags.
Did you have to pay extra?
No. I just attempt to hide them and act frazzled.
Oh yeah, I do that.
I act so fast. People look at me and they're like, this girl needs help.
They're like, oh, you got to put it in there. And I'm like, I try and put it. And then when they're not looking, I go.
And I'm always like sweating. I'm always a mess.
Yeah.
I'm always like, where's my passport? Like, I'm always like, I'm the worst. Like, I always think I'm like, I can never find love and travel with them because this is not a me that I want anyone to see.
Do you ever cry on planes?
Like, because of stress?
I don't know. Sometimes I'm in the air and I just start crying. I'm just like, I think sometimes because of stress, I think anytime I go home and then come back and leave here and go there, that journey I always cry at. Like saying goodbye to my parents, I cry. And then, yeah, I think also maybe because I flew back and forth during the pandemic and with my visa a lot. I think that journey just became so stressful and it just reminds me of such a uncertain time that I'm like, I think my body just is like, oh, remember this? And I'm like, I do.
And the emotion of leaving family, that used to make me cry. I think because I'm always stressed about getting, like, I've never gotten to the airport with time. The only time if it's been delayed.
Right.
It's the only time I've ever been there early. I'm always late. Last call for passenger green Katie.
Has that happened to you?
All the time.
No way. I've never had that.
I've been in.
That's my fear.
Yeah. I've been in line at security and being like, oh, sorry, can I go ahead? That's me. And people are like, what's wrong with you? And it happens every single time. I'm always late. Like I had to, for the last trip from San Francisco, there was, you know how they have all the different like priority and whatever. They have all those lines for security. And the girl was like, okay, you go here. And the line was really long. But I'm like, oh, my flight boards in 5 minutes. And she's like, what? Oh my God. And like she like stressed out for me. And I'm like, thank God. Otherwise, I would have missed the flight.
Yeah.
For sure. But I've only missed like 7 flights in my life. And that doesn't seem like a lot. But it's always been my fault.
Okay.
It's always been, yeah. I think it's because I live maybe 5 to 10 minutes away from SFO. So I've always, every time, like for me, going to the airport, I'm like, oh, I'm right here.
Yeah. I find you're always going to be late when you're close by because you get confident.
Yeah.
You get confident. You get cocky. You're like, I'll just, whatever, I'll roll on.
Yeah. Even when it's like, I'm always late for Heathrow and it takes me ages to get there. Taking so long. The last trip I had to go to Heathrow, I taxied to the station because I'm like, that'll make it quicker instead of having to take the bus.
Yeah.
As soon as I get to the station, they're like, evacuate. There's an emergency. So I had to get a black cab all the way.
Oh my God.
The stress of watching the meter. I'm like, it was so stressful. But I realized my economic goal is to be able to get into a black cab and not have to look at the meter.
I think even if I was like rolling in it, I'd still not get in a black cab.
But the luxury of a black cab, it is nice. I was doing like my work.
Yeah, it's roomy.
It's roomy.
It is roomy.
And it's also like stable. Whereas like cars here, I get really car sick. When I'm in an Uber, I rarely Uber. Even when I'm going to a party or a function, I will celebrate or I will splurge on the bus and a tube and not cycle. That's a splurge. So, because Uber, I get car sick. But in the black cab, that whole journey, wow. Not car sick at all. I'm like, this is luxury. This is luxury.
Wow.
That's it. That's the standard. I like to order things and not be looking at the price, you know? That'd be cool.
Yeah. I just don't think that's ever going to happen. Like, not like that you won't be, you know, whatever amount of money you want. But I just think even if you do hit that, you're still going to be looking. Because I think you just can't get out of that. Like, I think, like, you know, I could be a millionaire and I'd be like, all right, where's the reduced section?
Yeah. I'm going to ask you a question. Have you heard of these 36 questions that lead to love?
Yeah, there's a musical about it.
There's a musical?
It's really good. It's a bit odd. It's a musical that was built only for podcasts. So they have 3 episodes. It's really good. I don't know if they ever did it for stage. I don't think they did, but it's based on those. That's
really cool. I'm gonna listen to it. Well, this is a good one. What does friendship mean to you?
What does friendship mean to me? I think the word loyalty comes to mind with friendship.
Yeah.
Being there, listening, empathy. I think those are the values when it comes to friendship to me.
Yeah.
And I also think like a bit of time. Like it's not gonna. I think friendship builds. I think sometimes there are people who like are like I want. On occasion, I do get the odd person being like, I really want to be your friend. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. I'm like, or like sometimes they'll ask me like, I feel like we're not friends, but I'm like, we don't go out and do things. And it's not that door's open, but it's like, it's interesting. There's like an over familiarity from certain people. And I'm like, what I see as friendship, or sometimes you get the odd person who I'm like, they'll take one transaction with you and then they'll be like, they think that's intimacy or something.
Yeah.
And they keep going back to it. And then it's like, okay, that was a one time. This is kind of a strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Friendship is a buildable thing. I think back to like school or college when like, any friends that I had like really quickly, we never stayed friends long. Yeah. Like the friendships that build, those are always good.
Yeah. And apparently like, I think one thing as an adult that I do think is true is that experiences help friendships.
Yes.
Doing things like,
yeah.
Because I think when you're an adult, a lot of times it's like, all right, well, we're going to go out to eat and we're going to tell each other what we've done for the last 2 weeks that we've not seen each other. Whereas when you were in school, you were experiencing things together. And I think the friends that I've made in comedy, you, for example, because we experience a lot of stuff together.
Yeah.
You end up having a stronger bond as well. Because it's like, if we've both done a tough show or something like that, or if we've both done a really good show, those are things that we've gone through together.
Yeah. Yeah, the bond of a bad show is like that.
Oh, it's real. It's real. It's a trauma bond.
Yeah, trauma bond, baby. Yeah, that's great. Well, I love that. Well, thank you so much for this, Erika.
No problem at all. Anytime.
Do you have something to plug?
I do, yeah. My Instagram at Erika Ehler, or Twitter, I guess, X. I feel weird like plugging it.
Calling it X.
Yeah. I feel like it's a dead medium.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say, look, check me out on Threads, because that's...
Yeah. Check me out on Vine. Yeah. I'm still on it.
But yeah, at Erika Ehler on everything. I'm recording an album October 15th.
Yes.
Tickets are still available.
Tickets are still available. It's at the Bill Murray. Sunday the 15th. 8
o'clock doors, 8:30 start. And it's a well-reviewed show. It's fun. It's just jokes. So if that sounds sexy and cool to you, then come.
They love it. They love jokes. Well, thank you so much for doing this, Erika.
Anytime.
Love you lots.